What's going on, everybody? This is Bobby Mack here from the Huevos Ketchup podcast. We got Ray here with us again and a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. We have Jose Villalobos, who is a multidisciplinary artist. What's going on, Jose?
How's it going?
It's going, man. So you mind Jose or Joe, or what do we call you? Jojo?
Jose.
Jose.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do Jose.
People call me Jojo or Jojo Bear. But...
Jojo Bear? you know what's funny? I used to, speaking of bear and whatnot, like, I used to do this bit in my stand-up about, I had a friend who was gay, and he told me that I would be within the bear community.
Yeah, you fall in there.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's so funny because, like, I always said, like, I can never really be gay because I can't dress myself for shit, dude. I can't. Like, I would be that bummy gay dude at the corner. Like, I really would. So Jose, you are an artist, and I recently, and by recently, I want to say probably in the past month or so, I saw your work on Facebook, and I will tell our listeners right now, you got to look up Jose Villalobos on Facebook. His art is phenomenal, man.
I would say also on Instagram.
Also on Instagram.
Yeah, because Instagram I usually upload. I mean, it's more of an artistic platform, right? So it's...
What's your Instagram handle?
Jose Villalobos art.
Okay, Jose Villalobos art on Instagram. You guys need to check it out. It's really cool stuff, man. So what is it that you do with your art? If you mind telling our listeners, like, what is it that you try to do with it? What's your target? What's your goal?
So with my art in particular, so what I do is I kind of to give you like my artist statement, like elevator space, like
go for it, dude.
As much as I can.
Yeah, man.
Like
go
very
for it.
shortly, but no. So what I do is I pretty much. The whole idea is to combat like toxic masculinity within the Hispanic culture, especially growing up in a border. So what I do is I take all these things that already have a history, so there's a lot of found objects. So I use sombreros, I use boots, I use all kinds of stuff that are traditionally in the Norteño culture, and I dismantle them and I repurpose them. And then what I do is I make them as gay as possible, and I use that term loosely because it's not, I wouldn't consider like politically correct to say that, right?
Yeah.
But so I feminize the work. I add different touches like fringe and gold, like I just bling the shit up.
There you go.
So yeah, that's what I do. So it's pretty much just like it's a protest to machismo and being gay and how that it's so prominent, and you're trying to fight this cause. And it's problematic, we see hate crimes, and sometimes in the we're talking about the Latino culture, right, or the Latinx culture, the issue is kind of hushed. So when you're gay, so it's kind of fucked up, right? Because you can't be yourself.
It's kind of like just don't even talk about it, or like if you have like a gay son or daughter, it's like. You don't bring it up.
Shove them away.
Right.
Yeah. No, but you know what? I totally agree with you, man. Like, I'm actually half Hispanic and half white, and I grew up. My mom is very, very. Dude, my mom was Budo West Side, dude. My mom was real, and for real, dude. Right? But dude, as a matter of fact, a lot of my family lives off of 36th Street, so. Yeah,
it's nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So, no, but it is true that you do see a lot of, especially with the Hispanic culture, and that like machismo, like what you're talking about, is like men are supposed to be men, and men act a certain way and do certain things.
Yeah.
And of course, if you live an alternative lifestyle, that's really, I mean, again, I'm saying from that perspective, it's not okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like, and it becomes this thing, right? Like, they're not stupid, right? Like, we know it, but it's kind of like, oh, pues quién sabe, right? Like, nobody says anything, nobody, and it's kind of weird, too, because it's from different cultures, you get different, like, the support can be different. So I think that if you, and I've noticed it, but I'm not speaking for everybody, but I do notice that, with like white, with white folks, and especially, like the upper class kind of people. Like if you're gay, like, oh, it's okay, unless there's this expectation of like, if you are in some type of government you know, stance or anything like that. You know, now it becomes different. But I see, you know, it's farly like far more accepted.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh,
if you're in the public eye,
it's like, oh, he's gay, whatever, you know, and he
Yeah.
can just be like a gay guy being super flamboyant, and then for a Latino, it becomes completely different, right? So now you're just, you can't even live that truth, right? You can't live your own truth. You can't be, because of all these traditional and expectations that just come from generations to generations to generations.
Did you have any trouble with that in your own family?
I did, yeah. It was kind of fucked up, and I've talked to my mom. So it's funny because when you say that, it's kind of like now my sisters, you know, especially my sisters. I have 3 sisters, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, well, you are who you are. We still support you, but there's still like these microaggressions that you encounter that they don't realize that they're doing. And that can be hurtful too, like, and that can be tough. When I first came out, I actually came out later on. Like, I came out when I was 23.
Oh wow!
Right? So I came out when I was 23. I was, you know, I wasn't even in San Antonio. I went once I moved to San Antonio. That's when I came out, like 3 years after. And
did you feel that he was more comfortable to do it?
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it's like you're further away from people, so you're kind of like, you know,
that fresh start kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you know,
So then, when did you really? I mean, because we have a lot of gay friends for like my wife and I, and again, like I said, she's a hairstylist, so we have a lot of like alternative lifestyle, gay. We have as a matter of fact, we used to have that one trans person. Do you remember her? It was a guy that transitioned to, or is transitioning to, a woman. Worked at the salon that she used to work. Okay. So
y'all would always say the name whenever I go over there.
Yeah, God, man, I can't remember her name to save my life right now. But anyhow, and as a matter of fact, our best one of our best friends are 2 ladies that are married. They have 2 kids, and they're actually biological kids. They had is it called artificial insemination, where they use the turkey baster? I don't know. Like, it wasn't done traditionally, is what I mean. And
that's what
and so like I've had other people tell me that like they knew that they felt, you know, very different from a very young age. But I have also had people tell me that they didn't really feel that way until a little bit later. So for you personally, like, when did you really start to kind of say, you know what, something's different?
Right. I always knew as a kid. Like, it was no doubt. I love to play with fucking Barbies. You know, like, and it doesn't matter. I don't think, like, even the toys, like, being gendered or whatever, like, matters. It's just, like, stuff that I would do, stuff that I didn't find attraction to girls, ever. It was always, you know, same sex, like, always another dude. And but I knew growing up, like, in a super religious, like, family, I knew that it wasn't right.
Catholic?
Right? No. So it was like a evangelistical type of.
Wow, really?
Church,
That's actually pretty different for being from like a border town with Hispanic, because I mean typically it's usually Catholic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So then up until you were about 23, you said.
Yeah.
So pretty much your entire life, you're being like held down to not be who you want to be, and
not who you want to be, who you're meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. That's so who you're meant to be. So I mean, dude, that's got. I mean,
was there any suspicion from your family prior?
I don't think so. I mean, I will say I did have some gay porn, and it just went missing. So I was, you know, a teenager, and it went missing. So I don't know what the hell.
Who found it?
Yeah, who found it, or what they thought whose it was, or what.
Dude,
but if anything, I don't think so. I mean, I had to be careful too. I had to be careful with how I acted and who I was around with, and, you know, like, I was expected to have girlfriends, and I had girlfriends, but I was never really into them, you know. Like, it was just like.
Did you ever date a girl just to try it?
Oh, yeah, I
did
dated a girl. Yeah, I've slept with like 3 women in my life.
Wow, and what? So so like when you did, and again, I mean, you don't have to go into any crazy detail, but like when you did, was it just kind of like while you were there, it's just like, oh, something's not right. Like I just,
it's just I wasn't attracted to it.
yeah,
Right, like it just wasn't happening.
it's just like us, like when we see chicks, we're like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, yeah, that's yeah, and again, just kind of going back to you growing up that way, dude. Like that's got to be a fucking nightmare, man. I mean, just like you said, like you have this deep inside of who you're meant to be, just like you said, and it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do, even though they're not physically probably telling you, hey, you can't do that, but for a fact that, hey, I can't, I can't, or is come out, right? Is coming out the correct term?
Yeah. I mean, and it happens because it's, a lot of things that go into it is kind of this idea that you want to satisfy your family, right? You want to make them happy. Especially, for me as a parent, all I have is my mom, because my father passed away when I was 10, so I was really young. I think also that's another thing that kind of fucked me up as a kid too, but then my mom, when I came out later in life, she's like, oh, is it because you didn't have a father figure? But that has nothing to do with it, right? Like, my mom was pissed off when I came out.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
She was like...
Do you feel that she was more mad at you, or she was just kind of upset at the fact that her little mijo is...
And I'm the baby, eh?
Oh, you are? Oh, shit. Dude.
Yeah, it's like even worse.
Yeah.
So you said you have any brothers?
I have one brother.
Oh,
one brother?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Has anybody in your family ever asked you, like, oh, well, like, like, were you touched when you were young? Because
there's such a stigma about that.
Yeah, there is.
And it's so fucked up. Like, it's like, how does that even, define, like, you being gay is because you got molested as a child, or also, like, there's also this big stigma that the gay men molest, like, boys. And
But
you know what, like, that's, like, just to call it out, like, the Catholic Church, the priests do that, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's probably where it comes from.
You think that's kind of where it stems from? See, because, like...
I would agree, because I mean, it's just, geez, man, just...
Right,
one story evolves into another story. You get that one person that can expel it into much worse, and it just...
See, and then, like, I've heard so many people, just through listening to other podcasts and just reading other articles and stuff like that, I've heard that I guess that saying or however you want to put it, that they find, or that they've, I guess, through some research, and I can't even tell you how credible this research is.
Yeah.
But that some, or I guess a good chunk of gay men and or women have been somehow sexually abused. As
that has nothing to do with anything. I mean, I don't know. It's just...
It's just really odd because weird. I mean, like, I can see how, I mean, I guess you can say I kind of see how people would say that, because they kind of figure, well, this is a quote unquote deviant behavior.
Right.
So you yourself must have experienced some type of deviant behavior as a child, but I don't think, like... I mean,
like, for somebody to define, like, deviant behavior is... like, who defines that too? Like,
I don't know, because I'm a nasty motherfucker, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I can be too.
No, dude, for real, yeah. I mean, but so through your art, it's like you were saying earlier, how you kind of want to, I guess, somewhat banish this machismo attitude, right? Do you feel at any part, not that it's so much necessary to be full on machismo, but do you feel like there's maybe, like, it's I guess kind of like junk food, like, it's okay in small doses, you know what I mean?
No, it's not.
It's not at all?
It's not okay. No.
It's not at all? So what about the...
Like, it's not, like, how would you define, like, being okay in small doses? Like, would you think...
Well, I mean, like, and again, I probably could be getting this 100% incorrect, but I would say kind of like, if you are playing a role of, a man or
Right.
a male or however, like would it not be like I guess okay to show or a good thing to show your children, let's say for example, not saying that you're trying to prevent them from being gay or anything,
Right,
but
right.
like okay, I'll say it's okay. Here we go. So I have
I think I have one for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have in my family. We have someone who has had a daughter, and her ex-boyfriend doesn't like her playing with toy cars, monster trucks.
Okay.
He gets upset, says, "Oh, you're
Right.
gonna." And again, I know this is completely wrong. Even my family knows.
Yeah.
That's why he's an ex-boyfriend. He tells her, "Oh, you're gonna make her."
Yeah.
Butch-wise,
right,
you know?
right, yeah.
And,
no, I think
know.
that's also. I mean, I think those are just like preconceived ideas that have been kind of.
You think so?
They've been instilled in our brains. So
Yeah.
through a lot of and it doesn't matter. Like. If I sit here in this room, I can tell you, like, these are her dolls. Like, you have dolls in your room.
I do.
Right? So it's
I do.
just like,
I do.
you know what I mean? Like,
I have dolls and a gag ball hanging above my
that I may take later, but I was really no, and it's kind of this, it's just like reality shit, like
Yeah.
it's, doesn't matter what the fuck they play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't, that's not going to change, like, how they're born, how their brain works, how the biology of themselves.
I agree
works.
because I mean, like I said, like I have a
I
son.
never told you
and-
this, but I used to play with my sister's dollhouse.
I used to
but
play
played
with
with
dolls when
my
I was a
X-Men
kid.
Yeah.
toys. I used to make them destroy the
Dude, I
doors and everything.
have 7 sisters, bro, and like I used to play with dolls when I was a kid too, and like, I don't feel that that's in any way, shape, or form like shaped
Right.
my
That's
sexuality.
because a lot of things are just, I mean, plain flat, right? Like everything's gendered. Like we can say
Yeah.
to say that everything's gendered, but I don't think that should stop anybody from doing things, right? So
Yeah.
It gets
But-
annoying because,
yeah,
like, even an Xbox, a video game, is considered a boy's toy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's there's gamers too, like GAYMERs. Hey,
That's played like that.
and there's girls who love play video games too.
Yeah.
Like I just think it's these preconceived ideas of like what gender roles are and how it is. Like, my mom saw I went to go visit El Paso and she saw went to go visit her and she saw my fingernails painted, right?
Mhm.
And she's like, come here, right? And she like sets me down. I was like, oh, what's up, Mom? And she starts taking off the nail polish.
Oh
Yeah,
shit,
like,
dude!
she's
Come
like, oh
on.
yeah, but it's like these ideas that
Yeah.
this is for this and this is for that. Like, but I think that's bull because
Yeah.
that doesn't change
Do
who
you,
you
do
are.
you do it also just, I mean, obviously you let her,
Right.
I'm sure you could have put a big stink about it, but do
I
you
just
kind
let her
of,
go through it.
you let her just do it, right? Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just to, like,
He
please
answered
them.
what I was going to ask, yeah.
Well, see, like, and then just kind of like what I was kind of getting to earlier, talking about my son. Like, do you feel that like it's wrong, or I mean, I don't know what term you want to use for that, but for me to kind of teach him how to be like manly, or I mean, not like overly like to where like
Right.
bitch better have my food cooked or anything like that, but you know what I mean, like.
Where's my sandwich?
But like teach him, and again, not trying to like.
I don't think it's. Listen, you're raising a child, right?
Yeah.
And you're raising a child to the way you believe is right.
Yeah.
But you also have to be aware of a lot of things, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
can't, I mean, who knows? Maybe your kid is going to be gay. Nobody
Yeah.
knows. Or maybe he is gay. Nobody knows it until, he...
Until he decides,
Right. Until he
Yeah.
decides that... Or not decide, but, like, if he's seeing these things, right, he's like, this is how I should be. It's like me, right?
Mhm.
I had to do everything that my family wanted me to do, right? So I had to play with toy cars. I had to play with robot toys. I had to play... And sometimes, I remember this one time talking about toys. I'm sorry, I'm going to go off.
No, go for it.
But it's pretty fucking funny because I remember my parents came back from, they went out of town for like a day. And they brought me like this Batman toy. I was like, fuck yeah. It's like 2 people.
Mhm.
Like it was like this. And I was like, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the one with poison ivy in it.
Hey, dude, Poison Ivy's pretty hot, though. I will say this. I mean, I will go on record saying that. So then,
Did you hear about Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy being
Yeah, that there
lovers?
was, yeah.
what?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I thought they had them get married in the comics. I just saw
Yeah.
this like a month
Yeah,
or
well-
two ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
So
I
they were
mean,
gonna,
like,
I think they were gonna try and do that into a movie.
oh, into the movie.
Yeah, because
I'm
even
down.
the actress, she was like, if I have to play Harley Quinn again, I want her to be lesbian.
Dude,
Or
I'm
queer.
down.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
Yeah.
Well, so
Real quick, because
Oh,
I
shit,
remember
you're-
what y'all had said.
I don't know, bro. Just
No, y'all had said something that clicked in my. Oh, okay. So you said when y'all were talking about deciding,
Right.
and all that. One of the girls I used to work with, and not the one we used to work with, she was a lesbian. And
Was or
she
still is,
or sorry, yeah, she is. She is.
Have you ever said that?
No,
Oh, I had a friend who was black.
Michael Jackson.
He was?
Right?
Hey,
Jackson
Michael
was my
Jackson,
friend.
that's true.
There you go. She is a lesbian, but she didn't like it if someone was bisexual. To her, it was you're either one or the other.
No, and that's you see
Like, that's what I was gonna ask you.
There's so many things now, it's kind of like you're just. I think the world has become a lot more open to a lot of things, which
Yeah,
is good.
I agree.
Right? Like you can just be considered like just pansexual. You want to be in a relationship with whoever the hell you want.
I'm pansexual. 100% pan, sir. Go.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Non-binary people, like, you don't necessarily... And the non-binary also comes from, like, being able to express yourself however you want to and be with whoever you want as well, right?
So there is one question I do want to ask because, I mean, I get... And this is just... I haven't really decided or whatever. I'm just still very curious about it. I've heard a lot of people, especially a lot of, I guess you can say, right-wingers, so to speak, harp on their position about transsexual people or this whole body dysmorphia or being trans is a mental illness. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't believe it's a mental illness. I just think... I mean, there's a lot of research that goes into it. There's a lot of studies that go into it. It's kind of this... what happens is it's kind of like your body is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, right? So everything's like rewired a different way. Yeah. So I strongly believe that if a person feels like they're not in that body, they're not supposed to be in that body. It's kind of like plastic surgery. Yeah. Like you can have a girl and be like, "This is not my body," and then she can like put big ass tits on her and a big ass.
Absolutely, and I think she should come over so I can find out.
So like, but not and just talking about how you feel. I think it's completely valid. Actually, my sister-in-law is trans.
Okay. So from a male to female, is that correct, or from female to male?
From male to female.
From male to female. Okay.
Yeah. So she's trans, and we had conversations, because I like to talk to her about it, and it's also good to learn things. Yeah. Yeah. And because sometimes we're not well aware of a lot of things, and but I think I really do think it's just something that is natural. I think. If you feel like you don't belong, like if you feel like you were, if you're meant to be a male, and a woman, you have a woman's body, I totally believe that.
And then like also like what I think is really fucked up about it too, is, and again looking through research and looking through articles and whatnot about the suicide rate for trans people.
There's a lot of suicides and homicides right now.
Oh man, it's nuts, man. It's like I want to say the suicide was right over 40%. Yeah, that is fucking crazy, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, and again, I'm not trying to relate this to a mental illness at all, but I just think that mentally you have to be going through so fucking much. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Like
I think that's where the mental illness comes in, is because you become mentally unstable because you can't be who you want to be.
I agree with that. I can definitely see that, yeah.
So I think that, a big wave of depression probably does affect them because, they suffer from not being accepted and this happens, this is crazy as fuck, but it does happen where, it's not only you're discriminated in, in a cis world, right? So like cisgender is all the straight people, all the straights, Just
The
kidding.
straights.
And like even in the gay community, they're not accepted. So they have to create.
Really, they're not. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but really, they're not accepted.
Not that they're not accepted, but there's a lot more of difficulty of them like being accepted. Sometimes not always.
Why is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
why would that be?
Because I don't know. It's like this kind of. It's weird.
Do you feel like maybe, and again, not just like the gay community, but I guess the gay community, because that's what I'm talking about. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like they have this sense of like, because.
Is it because you're trying to go through more of a change than
Right,
just,
I think that's what it is, right? So
like me, and again,
like they have to create like their own safe space, and I completely understand that. I mean, I think that's completely valid as well. I mean, if you have to create your own community with peers and you have to do that, I mean, by all means, yes. I don't know. It's just kind of, it's in the gay community, it's super fucked up because this is why also like I have a hard time like being in the community at times because it's like, like you're expected to look a certain way. You're expected to like, right? So we have all these expectations, brought onto you by the media and like, you have to be all muscular and hot and bullshit, right? Like it's just kind of like, oh, if not, you don't feel like you're wanted or
really.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that that's more a view of maybe like the straight community to see, because I mean, like, like when I don't know if you've ever been to California.
I have.
Okay, so the last time I was in California, I went to go visit my sister out there this last summer, and we went by this. We went through like I guess they would say it's like the gay district, right? Mm-hmm. And from what I saw these guys, man, they were out there laughing and dancing and having a good time. And it's like 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, man, dude, they got it down right. So like everyone's having a good time. But I think that. I mean, I think that's a view brought on by, I would say, more straight people than gay. But I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like this idea, and you see it, and that's why there's so many communities too within the gay, like umbrella or like the LGBTQ community. Mm. There's so many, that's why you get bears. That's why you get otters. That's why you get.
I was gonna say, yeah.
What's an otter?
So an otter is kind of it's.
Is that the smaller of the?
Yeah, it's like the smaller bear, right? So
like
you're still furry, but you're not like.
So like a Build-A-Bear.
I
was gonna go there. I think
you say that one was a gummy bear.
No, a gummy bear is for like a little gay midget, right?
That's
like
a
gummy bear. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, for a little.
I've never heard that.
No, it's completely fake. I just made that up right now.
Oh shit!
he had a joke a couple years back.
Do they really call like if you're Asian and you're a bear, do they call them pandas? Please tell me yes.
What? No, I've never heard that.
No, they don't call them pandas.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't participate so much in the community life, so I don't know.
I'm like, dude, come on, you gotta let me in on this. Dude, that's crazy. No, but so I want to go back to your art just for a little bit, man, because I mean, but you know what? But I think everything you're talking about right now, I mean, honestly, I think is great because I think our listeners and I think just people in general need to kind of understand just a little bit more. Just like you said, I think awareness is really the key.
Yeah. I mean, people need to know, right? Like, and nobody is shoving it down your throat. Nobody's telling you, but it's also, it's kind of, sometimes I see it as if it were to be something like, somebody who is African American or black, right? Yeah. So like, we because we don't understand that culture or that culture, right? So it's good to listen and it's good to be aware of certain things, and what we can call them, what we can't, this is kind of like things that, or what we can say, or what, because we don't know, we don't know anything until you learn from them. But we just need to be able to accept them for who they are as people, because we're at the end of the day, we're all made of flesh and bone and blood, and that's it. There's nothing different to anybody.
Honestly, there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not. I mean, really, like when we die, we're all going to the ground, man.
Right.
I mean, we're all going to the ground. I mean, how you spend your life here on the planet, It's up to you.
I'm not gonna go to the ground. I mean, I'm probably gonna turn into ashes, and then I'm gonna get blown with glitter in the air.
He just wanted to say he's gonna get blown. That's the only thing he wanted to say. That was the best part.
That can happen. Shit. Just kidding.
Getting blown after death.
God, that would suck because you don't really know him. Dang, shit, sign me up. No. No, but so you know what? And again, I do want to talk about your art here in a second.
Because this is turning into like a whole different.
No, it's good because that informs the work that I do.
Yeah. So you did mention kind of a little bit, kind of touched on about like different cultures. You know, like what do you call certain people and stuff like that. So something that I've been kind of curious about, because like I said, I mean, we have gay friends and whatnot, but just kind of like what you were saying, that they don't really participate in the community.
Yeah.
They're not like they only hang out with like, you know, other gay couples or people or whatever, this and that. But like one thing I have been curious about, and again, I have been asked this question just kind of like on just some whims and whatnot. So like how let's say for example, like how black people or African Americans, however you have to refer to them, how they use the N-word.
Right.
Do you know or are aware of like people in the gay communities like using the word like faggot or anything like that? Like, do they call each other that as like?
Yeah.
Kind of,
There's certain terms that are used.
Yeah.
But I can say faggot's not one of them. Because
Do you see it as one of those words you got to see who's comfortable with it? Because
right.
We
like,
had,
you know, I can.
We had Frank. You've already said Frankie's name, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Frankie's been on the podcast. I'm gonna hire.
Yeah.
Like
Frankie Danger.
Yeah, Frankie Danger says that they gave him that name.
Faggot Frankie.
Well, I was trying to avoid saying it.
Well, no, I'm just.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's
Yeah. So for this discussion, I guess. So then he started calling him Faggot Bobby, and then they started calling me Faggot Ray.
okay.
So that's why I was like, you got to kind of see who's
right. So it's you know, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, you know, it's just being comfortable with that person, and if you have that.
like. I'm not gonna go and use it. I mean, I rarely use it, but I'm not gonna go.
But
use
that's
it
one of
for,
the-
But also, like, you have to be careful where you use it, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's
like,
true.
You can't, you know.
Just be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, like, you know, you don't want to do it like in public. Like,
You just
if
can't walk into the bottom and just be like,
Like-
"What's up, faggot?" Like, you just can't do that.
Like, it's, you know, it's offensive to some people, and you know, it's just, but it's just understanding that, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just being able to acknowledge it,
Yeah.
and then move on from
See,
that.
but like I know that like a lot of, I mean, most straight guys that, I mean, especially around like my age, like I'm 36, 37, so 36.
I'm
Yeah.
38.
So- no, I'll be 37 this year. Yeah, fuck you, dude. Anyway, but I'll be
Like
37
12
this year.
months,
Anyway,
12 months
dude, the
off.
point is, God damn it, I'm trying to make a point here. Is that
Well, 8 months off. No, not even 8 months.
Really?
6 months off.
Really?
Still counting months.
I know you still counting months. Son of a
We're
bitch.
getting all offended over
Well,
6
no,
months.
I'm just saying, like, you're trying to call me like I'm almost 40, you asshole. Anyway, okay, fine, I am, but that's not the point. But the point, the point I'm trying to make is, see, look, and I fucking forgot already.
Ooh.
See, you dick. But anyway, yeah. So that, okay, yeah, there we go. So I noticed that like a lot of guys like my age, especially like my generation, Generation X, like we were, I don't want to say brought up, but I'm more like in our adolescent and teen years using the word such as faggot was more. It was more just like you don't use it as in like, you know, you call somebody a faggot like as in like they're gay or homosexual.
It's kind of like fucker, you know.
Yeah. Just kind of like you say like I don't know if he said
It's
water
kinda
with no
like-
ice, but like faggot. Like just like you know, you don't. But I think that because I use that, like I do use that term a lot.
He does. Yeah.
I do, but again, like I would, you know, at the same time, talking to you,
Right.
you know, knowing that I do need to be more aware of my surroundings, because I'll tell you what, dude, I am a fucking loose cannon, dude. Like I say all kind of crazy shit,
Yeah.
but not like in a.
Not to be mean about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know, if I ever
Malicious way.
yeah, I mean, I would never, you know, intend to be malicious, but I will tell you this much: I think I do get it from, like, for example, like my dad. So my dad, he's
Call your dad out.
no, I'm not trying to call him out. So my dad's not like machismo, like real manly man type thing, you know, type guy. I mean, shit, dude, my dad sews and bakes and shit, right?
Yeah.
So he does it. He's fucking fantastic. But my dad's very old school. Like he's very old school, backwoods country. So, wonderful example would this one time we had gone to Dairy Queen, and the lady behind the counter was clearly Asian. What kind of Asian? We don't know. Okay, but she definitely was not Filipino. Okay, my dad, however, he was trying to tell her the order to get these ice creams for all the grandkids. And she's like, "Oh, so you want?" And again, I'm not trying to be offensive with the accent, okay? I'm just saying, she's like, "Oh, so you want 2 ice creams?" And he was like, "Look, this," and this is what my dad tells her. He said, "Look, don't be getting all Filipino on me and shit." So he wasn't like, he just says crazy shit. And this one time we had gone to HEB, and this little girl behind the counter, the little what is it called, the cashier, right? Was it called cashier? Yeah. Anyway, she had a black eye, and my dad didn't say hello, good afternoon, good evening, nothing like that. My dad just walked up to her, right, and she's there with her black eye, and he goes, talk back, didn't you? Like, so, so like, he's not like so much advocating for like domestic violence, like he's not like a huge believer in like stuff like that, but he does say a lot of things without a filter.
Right.
And so
where he gets it. Yeah,
and so I think that's kind of where I get it from. But I have told my dad before. I told him, dude, you gotta watch it. Especially when
I think it's just times have changed. I mean, we're far more aware of a lot of other things. Right. So I think that's when because a lot of people were afraid to say anything. Right.
Yeah.
So we're living in a time where people are not afraid to say anything anymore, right? Like they're balls out.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, look at Trump.
Okay, hold on now. But the thing is that you can't really call out Trump because he is, and I am going to use this on PC term, he is retarded. And that's right. You can't use the all wood. So, but he's on a whole fucking other level, dude.
For sure.
He is just beyond. Like, I never thought that a president would speak that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just blows my fucking mind, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, presidents have done fucked up things. I mean, look at what's his name, Kennedy.
Clinton.
Yeah. Well, Clinton getting blown behind what is it called? Behind the counter or whatever.
The podium.
Yeah, the podium. Was it
the counter?
It was not the podium.
It wasn't.
No. We just.
I thought he was though. I thought he was getting blown during the interviews, right?
No.
Probably.
It was under the desk, but like
it was under. Oh, he was under the presidential desk.
I'm guessing.
That's fucking cool, dude. No, but like presidents have done some pretty fucked up things, but I just think the shit that he says out of his mouth is like, do you fucking think about anything before you say it?
Doesn't. Yeah,
no, I mean, I don't think he does.
Real quick, I think you're probably like the first Hispanic, or what's your race that you go by?
Why I go by Latino or
Latino?
Latinx.
Okay.
I go Latinx. So
What is Latinx?
So
I'm not familiar with that.
So this is good also because also, I mean, I do identify as gay, right? But ultimately, when I talk about myself, I can call myself queer, because queer is it's a more inclusive term. So right, so it's like it's just being queer.
So then you can refer to as, or you can refer to lesbian, gay, or
trans,
and you can refer to them as queer, and that's not as offensive, or
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like more of an inclusive term.
Okay, so then if I said like, oh, this person,
I thought that was a real offensive word.
I thought that because
and you can see it on my website when you go, look at or anywhere. I identify as a Latinx or queer person of color, right?
Queer person of color.
So what is the X? Is that
Latinx is so like Latinx, when the X is included in like terms like that, it means you're including all genders, right? So
okay.
Yeah, so it's not only Latino, right?
Or
so,
Latina or Latino.
Right. Because a lot of the time what happened, actually, that whole issue was, it's so crazy. We get into like all these crazy stupid X's or whatever, but it's just true. It's like what happened is when you would refer to a woman of color who was Latin descent, right? They would say a Latino woman, right? So instead of saying Latino woman, it just becomes a Latinx.
Oh, okay. Right. So it's not Latina or Latino.
Right. It's just all inclusive.
So now is that term mostly used around like I guess like around like the gay community, or is it just like a no? It's not. So
it's just used everywhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I didn't know that.
I mean, the Latinx is just because Spanish is very, it can be, there's a lot of like words that are to be gendered, right?
Yeah.
So like OA, but it's like a lot of, you know, like now people also don't identify as Chicano, they identify as Chicanx, you know.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard that.
Yeah.
I think the term Chicano and stuff like that. I think do you find that's more of like a? I've heard a lot of that like in the valley, right? Is that? I mean, am I getting that?
I think it. I mean, I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it more in the valley. And I've heard it also like in California.
Okay.
Yeah, like I grew up in the border. I don't identify as Chicano. Also, even though I do fit the category, because technically, you know, it's like you're somebody who is in the United States that has descendants from, you know, Latin America or Mexico, and but it becomes problematic because Chicano is like, or Chicanx or whatever you want to call it, Chicano, Chicana, just the term Chicano itself. The whole Chicano movement started, and it started heavily based off of like these super macho men.
Yeah.
Right. So that
I like these migrant workers that.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it's kind of the machismo was super strong in that culture too, and that's why when people referred to me as like a Chicano or Chicanx, I had to correct them right away because I'm like, no, like I don't go under that term whatsoever because of that. Because I mean that's what I'm fighting for, right?
Exactly.
That's what my work is about.
So, and again, going back to your work, because I know we strayed off a lot, but no, but it was good though. It was good. But going back to your work, so was there anybody that like really inspired you to go the route that you're going so far as like you're performing art, or is this kind of your, like, this is just your own madness going on? Or
it's just, I mean, I've always been interested in the arts. I've always liked it. I've always, you know, like I think ever since I started taking like art classes in middle school.
Yeah.
You know, like I love the craft of it. I love like being able to create something like with using your hands and like, you know, like it's just doing something.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of like also like mechanics, right? Mechanics build engines and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a passion for it. But for me, yeah, definitely, I think it was just. I was always more of a visual learner too. I think that's probably more where it comes from because I mean, art itself is like another language, so it's like it's a visual language, right?
For sure.
It's how we can use that to talk about certain things, how to use it as a form of protest, using it as a form to inform people of certain social or social justice issues. You can talk about, you know, your life. There's people who talk about their life and their work and just certain things, and you know, it just depends on the work that you do. So like I fall under like contemporary art because that's what I do. You know, there's artists of all kinds. You know, there's people who draft for comic books. There's people who are digital media people. There's artists who paint to sell work. But you know, like I don't specifically do that. You know, like my work it's contemporary, and it's because of what I do with it and how I use it. But even when I was a kid, like I used to always like color, or like I would take the stupidest piece of like string and then make something out of it. I'm like, oh look, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, I am not that fucking creative.
Yeah. You know, and like to people are like, oh wow, you know, it doesn't look like that. But you know, in my mind, it's like that's. Yeah. But you know, as a kid, now as an adult, of course, like there's a lot more process involved. You start to learn things. You start to work with different materials. I work with a shit ton of materials. I think it's super important as an artist to play a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think if you don't play, you don't.
I think that's important though for whatever you do, man.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because I mean, just in any profession, I think that if you if you fuck around with things and you play with them and you actually get the chance to like do things like that, I think that your work, you know, again, you don't have to be an artist, but like I think that your work in general, like
just like how you were saying, like, you know, like your wife, a hairstylist, right?
Yeah.
It's super important for them to play around with shit, because if not, you're not gonna know what colors to get.
And she fucking does.
Right? Like, or what kinds of asymmetrical haircuts, or what, you know, it's just like, it's just trying to see what is possible, right? And trying to experiment with things, and that's how things are done, you know, that's how science is done, all these
experiments and
You get successful shit. You get stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah, and then I think that's even important for like just the advancement of society.
Right.
Because I mean, like, look at all the new technology and shit we have. And now I'm not saying it's bad or good, but what I'm saying is that like all this new shit that we have is because somebody was fucking around with some little parts and things and that, and next thing you know, yeah. So I mean, I think that's really important. So then, what is your process like when you're creating a work? So can you kind of walk us from the moment of the conception of this of a piece in your mind to your product?
So the process is trying exactly like for me, it's what am I trying to convey, right? So I mean, all my body of work deals with the same topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it deals with the same topic of trying to kind of fight these expectations and like what is expected. Toxic masculinity, all that stuff. But how it starts, it starts by trying to kind of have an idea of what you want to convey in that specific work, or what you're trying to talk about and what you're trying to do. So just to give you like an idea, what you do for me, it's what I do first is like I think about shit, right? So I'm like, okay, how can I talk about this using the material that I do and whatnot? I sketch, I write.
Do you listen to music to help you at all? Like,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
What are you listening to right now?
I listen to all kinds of shit. Yeah, I listen to, norteño, I listen to mariachi, I listen to Juan Gabriel, I listen to the gay shit on earth, like Lady Gaga. Pop music. I listen to reggaeton. I listen to everything.
Tell you what, man, but that reggaeton, dude. Like if you go out into the club with some reggaeton playing, dude, you're getting some. Yeah, you're gonna be grinding on somebody, bro. Yeah. That's some shit.
That shit's coming back too. Yeah. It's crazy because it had its debut here, right? So that's when it started to like expand, and then it just kind of like hushed, and there was like this big. There was like a big pop, movement in the music, and then that shit disappeared, and then it started being hip hop, and then hip hop is slowly just kind of like evolving to like reggaeton.
That's some catchy shit though, dude. Who's that one dude? And then I don't know if he's reggaeton or not. I mean, I could be wrong. Nicky Jam.
Oh, I don't know who it is.
Oh, is Nicky Jam?
Wait, I don't think he is.
He's not, or is he just hip hop? I don't fucking
know.
I don't know, but look, all I know is that he speaks Spanish or in his music, and but some catchy shit. I find myself fucking just jamming in my truck, dude. Like I do, dude. Like I get fucking caught on that shit.
Yeah.
So then about like how long does it take for you? Typically, to create a piece.
Oh, it just depends on the work, right? So it can be something that can be done in a day.
Wow.
To something that can take a week to like 3 months. Sometimes I'm pretty sure everybody goes through this, but sometimes I start something and it just fucking stays unfinished for a long time.
Oh, every day of my life, dude. Yeah. It's fucking every day of my life.
And even then, like, it's not only just the actual piece. It's just maybe even the simple idea. On my phone, I'm always writing notes, right? Yeah. Oh shit, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be interesting to do this, right? And sometimes I don't go with that idea.
Yeah.
Just
kind of sits on the back burner for a while.
Yeah. But
you with your jokes.
Dude, it's bad. So I mean, so I mentioned before, I do stand up. So I'm constantly writing jokes or writing premises for jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'll have one. I'm like, dude, that is fucking hilarious. Yeah. So I'm there writing shit down. I'll come back I don't know, 6 months, a year later, and I'm like, the fuck is that, dude? I don't remember writing that shit, dude. Like, I don't. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
No, but it's good to take notes. Like, I think it's.
You just gotta take better ones.
That's for real, dude. Seriously.
So then it's a part like one word.
No, it is. I'm like, that would be funny. Let me write this one word down, and then
you're like,
go home and jack off, and I forget about everything, dude. It's fucking terrible, dude. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking bad.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, it can take a while. It just depends. It depends on the work. Right now, I have a solo show up at a local gallery here in town. It's called Pressa House Gallery.
Is that over in the Blue Star area?
It's near the Blue Star.
It's near the Blue Star.
Yeah,
because that sounds real familiar.
It's on South Preston. Do you know where Southtown 101 is?
Yes.
Okay. They're right next to them.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
It's like a house. It's an older house, but it's turned into a gallery.
Okay, cool.
But so right now I have a solo show, and like the work that I have there is like it's mostly installation work, so it's not like. Well, and I don't know, a lot of people who are not well aware of the arts. Like installation is something that is site specific to the area.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have like these sombreros, like. Just to go back to touch like on what I wanted to talk about or whatever, like I have these sombreros that are split, right? So you have like the top of the sombrero and then like golden chains and pearls hooked onto like the bottom part.
Okay.
And in between, they're all suspended, and in between like there's a white rose that is dipped in soy wax. And so that, that idea is talking about like the purity of because it's true, like when we see there's always the fucked up thing about like the sense of talking about purity, right? Like it's always a woman, right? So the woman can be like, oh, she's
pure,
right?
She's untouched. It's,
right. But like it's never portrayed with men, right? And I think that's also important. And I think is like. And also sometimes like macho men think they're they're the purest shit ever, and that's where it comes from. It's like this state of in between. It's like, for me also that work deals with, like being in a stage of like trying to be who you are, and they're almost like ghostly at times too, because these things are like suspended.
Yeah.
So like they almost resemble like somebody there.
That's pretty fucking deep, man. Yeah. I like that. Go for it. What do you got?
I got two questions.
Yeah.
You said that you try and see what story.
What's a sombrero?
Right. Stupid. You said you try to see what message you're going to try and come across with.
Right.
Where do you get your, I guess, ideas of what message you want to, does it through something?
Okay. No. Yeah. So I mean, all of my work right now up to so far in my artistic career, it's all been autobiographical. Mm-hmm. So this stuff comes by experiences, observations, things that I've lived, right? So that's where it comes from. And I mean, I'll have I have a casket in one of the rooms in the gallery.
Shit, dude.
I bought a casket, and it's like white, pure white with gold. And
was it used? No.
No.
It was used. Would you mind taking the body out, please? If you took the body out, if it was a female, he'd probably be on that.
Probably my secret.
No, it's funny. Him and I have a running joke. It's not okay for all listeners. It's not true because I know Ray will start crying
when
here.
He starts telling stories.
So I don't even remember how it fucking came about.
No, I remember how.
How?
We were outside. We went.
Were you talking about would you ever touch a dead titty?
No. I didn't. No. So the joke was we had gone to. I had never been to Adult Megaplex before. And he had already been. Okay. This was the one over there on 281 on 1604.
Several times too.
Off of Tacoma Drive.
Have you been to the one on the one off 35?
Oh, dude.
That one's huge.
Dude, that one is that was the megaplex, dude.
Yeah. That's a two-story one, right?
It's not two-story.
Oh no, but it's like a bigger.
Yeah, it's
outside
fucking huge
building. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
So yeah, we were. I don't know if he asked me if I wanted to go or. No. The first time I ever went, he just drove us over there, and he was like, "Get up!" He was like, "Get up, bitch!" And I was like, "I ain't fucking getting up." I was like, I think I had just turned 21 or whatever, or 20. Yeah. I was 20 or 21, and he's all, "Get up, bitch," or whatever, and I was like, "I ain't fucking getting off." And he's like, "Come on, quit being scared, whatever." So anyway, we finally get off or whatever, and anyway, we finally get back in the car, and. I think an ambulance was parked out by that gas station.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he had said something about there being a dead body, and I was like, I think I had just seen something on TV about this guy that would steal jewelry off of dead bodies. He was an EMT.
Yeah.
And then he goes something about, would you ever sleep with a dead body or like someone that had just died? I go, well, how long have they been dead? I told him that he's like, not like you're cracking open a cold one, like you're trying to. But I told him if maybe if it was fresh.
If it was fresh, definitely if it was fresh. No, so now there's a running joke about him being a necrophiliac.
It's been like a decade already.
Yeah, it's been forever since we always fuck around with that.
So what I wanted to ask was, I know as an artist, usually I guess artists kind of are respectful of other people and how they choose to use their craft. Do you get any backlash from other artists for the way you're trying to do your stuff?
Anybody talking shit, man?
I don't think so. No, like not. Well, they haven't made it apparent to me, so
No negative comments like on social media or anything like that.
You know what? I just did get a negative comment on social media. Yeah.
Really?
That was like my first one. Well, and it wasn't even on. It was on my work, but it wasn't on my personal social.
Okay,
media.
so
it was under the gallery.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, I am unfollowing you for bullshit reasons that people like to jump into conclusions, right?
Yeah.
So, I did a performance yesterday. It was a site-specific performance, and it was at the gallery owner's ranch, parents' ranch, and like super old school, like traditional Mexican. Right?
Yeah.
And so in the entrance to the performance, I'm actually being drugged by a horse. So they dragged me.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, so
like a real horse.
Like a real horse. Yeah.
Shit.
Into the corral. I don't know what it's called in English. Where it's like the round area where the horses run.
Oh,
it's not like a track. It's not a track.
I know what you're talking
You
about.
speak Spanish, right?
No.
It's like a.
I know what you're talking about, though.
It's like a fenced-in area.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like a stable, right?
Yeah, kind of like a stable.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I had this person comment under like the gallery, and I was like, "He's check this out." And he's like, and it's just people always jump to conclusions, right?
Yeah.
And or people don't read into it. Like they read into it maybe too much, or they don't even like bother to read into it.
Yeah.
So they don't know context. So they were like saying they were trying to compare it to the Jasper murder. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. What?
Yeah. So like
What's that?
So it was this
a white nationalist.
Yeah, white nationalist drug.
A black person from his pickup truck.
Oh yeah.
It was a little girl, wasn't it? I thought
Was
it was
it?
a little girl.
I saw something on Inside Edition.
Something like that. Yeah.
I want to say it was a little girl.
Yeah.
That they drug. I mean, it might have been a dude, but I know.
Yeah. Well, they were, they automatically like were jumping to that. First of all, it's like voluntary, right? Too. I'm holding the fucking rope. I'm not, getting dragged by my feet or anything. It's almost a sense of trying to control something and hold something that you can't. So that's it's like it's being put in a situation.
It's not like I'm being drugged around because of my skin color and
right. No.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking stupid, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, I'm an idiot and a half, dude. But I wouldn't.
Yeah,
It
was dumb. And then they asked for context and they explained the context of everything, and they're like, "Oh, okay." But it's kind of like.
But like, why does it have to go there?
Yeah, exactly.
So why does it have to go to that?
Like, it could have just been better of like, "Oh, I would like to know more about this. What is it about?"
Or like, or even, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, at least that would be plausible.
Yeah.
I mean, other than thinking that it's relating.
But I think that's the only negative shit that I've read so far.
That's good. Man.
I mean, I've gotten, man, I'll tell you, I get all kinds of looks from people when they go check out work sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on where it is, right? So I exhibited work at, well, it was originally here in town, but then it actually went to the Museum of Art in Ciudad Juarez in Mexico.
Okay, badass.
And I have, I had these belts made, like the Western belts with the last names in the back that are stamped into. So what I did with that work is I got these belts made, right? But instead of having a last name, they all have like derogatory, homophobic slurs on them.
Okay.
So they say like Joto, Jotito, Maricon, like
I
all
haven't heard
kinds.
that word in a long
Dude,
time.
maricon, yeah, I haven't heard that. No.
Yeah, marica, mariposa, like there's, so.
What do those mean?
Mariposa doesn't mean butterfly, right?
It means butterfly, yeah. But it's like, it's kind of the equivalent of calling somebody like a fairy, right?
Oh,
Like when
okay.
somebody-
Oh, okay.
fucking
I always thought
fairy.
mariposa sounded like a dirty.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not dirty.
It almost sounds like
a feminine.
it's almost like pussy, right? It's almost like pussy, right? Like, hey, let me see your mariposa. I mean, that's what I think about it. I'm like, come on, girl, let me see your mariposa.
Not even, it's mariposa.
Oh, mariposa. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
So
right.
when you see
I'm a
someone that's
pansexual.
giving you
Oh my goodness.
Easy. Only on the Huevos and Ketchup podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Only on the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
when you see someone giving you kind of a dirty look or anything like that, does it make you feel like you want to kind of express yourself even more just to kind of make them even more uncomfortable?
Not specifically. You know what it is? Oh God, I'm
It's alright, catch your
choking. But
If he tries to take it down more with the beer, you can take this water if you need it.
no, but you know what happens is when I exhibited at work, you know, it would kind of like the reaction, right? I think when people react to your work, that means you're doing something right. So I think that it doesn't like maybe maybe what I feel is like, fuck it, like I need to do it even more, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, because I would say he did, like when we used to work together, and he would say something nasty or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, get away, you're so gross or whatever. He'd do it even more. So that's why I was kind of curious as to.
because, a reaction, whether it's good or bad, but I think reaction is important,
Yeah, I agree.
right? Because reaction is causing something, it's causing somebody to feel something, it's causing somebody to react to it. If you have, if my work wasn't causing any reaction, then people, it becomes static. And it becomes
and you know what, when I was because again, I was just scrolling through Facebook one day and I was just looking at just shit, and then I saw your stuff and I didn't have a negative reaction, but I was like, whoa, I was like, dude, that is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I haven't seen, and as a matter of fact, I saw the belt you were talking about and the one that says Jotito on it, and I was like, I wear that.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
And it's funny because, what exactly when people are uncomfortable is when they're laughing, right? So when they have this chuckle or they have that they're feeling that uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Their comfort level is.
It's not like a real laugh. It's like almost like a fake, almost kind of to mask that uncomfortableness.
Right. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that's what happens. I mean, I've done. I did this performance. Also, I did another performance during the opening reception of that show at the gallery. I did a performance that touches base on rape and the rape culture and the norteño also culture as well. What happens is kind of like, and this exists and it's problematic as fuck, right? So you, a man can rape another man in the sake or in the name of being a man, which is stupid, right? So it's kind of like, I touch base on it because I'm being a victim myself of rape, right? That's how I express my work. All my work is autobiographical, so it's all things I've experienced. But there is this one man who was just laughing the entire time.
What?
Yeah, but I think he was uncomfortable. I think he was, and it wasn't laughing fucking laughter that it's not like a comedic laugh. It's more like an uncomfortable laugh.
Yeah.
And but that's the way people disguise it. It's like people disguise their emotion through either sometimes laughter or by talking shit about something. Yeah, for sure.
No, I agree, because I know that if I ever or when I go through tough shit, I make jokes of it.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what helps me cope with shit.
Yeah.
If something tragic happens to me or whatever, I may not make a joke at it right then and there, but later on I do that because if I don't, I find that shit festers in my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like I'll start making jokes of shit.
Right.
My wife hates it to death. But you know, I mean, like, hey, that's how I deal with shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't, you know, I can't think of any other way, me personally, where I can deal with stuff like that.
Real quick, because I think you know where I was going to stop him at. What did you mean by that another man can rape another man?
Yeah. Oh, so the sake of so it's kind of this idea like it's kind of complicated. Like really, it is. But it's kind of like it's okay, right?
Is that to be the raper, not the rapee? Is that what you mean?
Right.
Oh,
You know what?
okay.
I think
it's
I've heard
okay
about
because
this.
I'm like, you know, it's like they're doing it because just out of the sake of you being a faggot and them being a macho, and they're going to show you. Right?
Yeah, you know what? I think I've heard about stuff kind of like this. I want to say it was in is it the Cuban culture or the Colombian? I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're called like the albaquos or something like that. And again, we're going to look that shit up. But it's something like that to where these guys are such men that to show you their dominance,
Right.
they're going to fuck you. Like, whether you be male or female.
Because when he said that, I thought about you had told me about that thing you had saw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, I'm probably saying the name incorrectly, but they wear all white, and it's kind of like I know it's a Hispanic Latino culture type thing, and again, correct me. Latinx culture. So then if I refer to Puerto Rican.
You can say Latino. I mean, that's not a problem.
Oh, okay. Well, no, but I just because again, because that's something new that I learned. I never heard of.
I think the Latinx, like you can say Latino culture is fine. I think the Latinx is the individual.
Individual. Okay.
Yeah. So
what about Hispanic? Is Hispanic
Hispanic is.
That's what I prefer. For me.
Yeah. I mean,
to me, because I mean, not to discriminate for what your reasons for using it for, but I just feel like. After like Ricky Martin or Mark Anthony, everybody sees them as Latino, so then everybody just starts saying, "Oh, I'm Latino."
Yeah.
So I kind of feel
I do see what you're talking about.
What about Jenny from the block, dude? She's
Latina.
Oh show. Anyway, so no, but anyway, but these guys, they're such men, and a matter of fact, I remember I was telling you that.
You said something about their women, right? About their wives or something like that.
Yeah, so their wives are like completely submissive. Now, like I'm talking completely submissive, and then that these. See, now this is the part. Remember, because I was trying to talk to you about the part I didn't understand was they're such men that they cannot be in the same room with somebody that's gay or like a lesbian or anything like that. Like they'll physically remove themselves.
Right.
However, at the same time, to show their dominance, they will. I mean, and again, I don't know if they forcibly do it, but they will have sex with a man, like they'll be the giver, and to show that, hey, I'm a man and you're gonna take this. Which to me, I mean, again,
but that's like the same, that's the same idea.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens, right? And a lot of it too, it's like hush hush type, right? So it's just kind of like, just how I was saying, you know. It is a dominance thing, and it's they can do it for the sake of being a macho or a man and not have to worry about them being gay or whatever, right? And they're just doing it. And it's problematic. I mean, it's, it's crazy. And, but you can tell when people get uncomfortable for sure, I mean, like the reaction based of a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, and again, not to get too personal, but I know that you had mentioned that a terrible incident like that happened to you. Right.
And again, not trying to go into crazy detail because again, I don't want to have you say something.
You want that in, like,
yeah, I talk about it. Yeah, I talk about it when I work in public.
But again, now, like how was it? By somebody that was trying to do the same thing to you, trying to show dominance, or was it just a terrible thing?
It comes from a lot. So, it's not happened to me just once. It's been more than once, and it's terrible. It exists. It happens, right? But, some of it is that that dominance aspect, but a lot of it also has to do with kind of like not, because I went through a time where I don't know what the fuck happened.
Mm-hmm.
All I knew is I woke up and I had no clothes on. I was in my car, right? So something happened, right? So like something happened.
Like you got drugged or something?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Fuck,
because
man.
I had one drink.
Yeah, and there's no way that
I had
you
just
could've-
got out of work and I went to meet up with my friends because they were gonna celebrate whatever, and I had one drink. And all I remember is I feel so fucked up. This is stupid. Like I felt sick.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I think I need to go, right? So all I remember is trying to get to my car and everything was fucking woozy. Like I couldn't. It's weird. Like and then that shit happens. Like people do get drugged. Like like
crazy, man.
Being like that happened to me. That shit was crazy because I was like, there was no way, and it sucks too because like you don't want to tell people about it, right?
Yeah.
And when you do, it's kind of like it's always the same it's like the same reaction. Wow, you sure? It's just like, dude, you can't like.
Yeah. Wake up naked.
Yeah, like.
Do people ever like try to make you feel bad for like for that, like, because that's I think that's one of the worries that like a lot of rape victims have is that like people will say it's your fault.
Yeah,
or
like I have a friend that's female that it happened to,
Yeah.
and her family and actually her boyfriend told her, well, you shouldn't have been drinking out there, kind of thing.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think that that is the victim's fault.
Yeah,
because you're the one who's okay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they're doing it forcibly to you.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I don't know. I don't think. And I don't know why people think that.
Yeah, but
it happens. Yeah.
I mean, people talk.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, people say crazy shit like that. Like, well, you know what, Jose, you shouldn't have been out there doing
like
this.
if her family would have said that, like even if my mom would have said, "Oh, well, it's your fault," I would have been like, "Well, it's your fault for having me." Like you can say the same shit.
Right?
It's stupid. Like no, it's just it happens. It's terrible. Nobody should go through it, but it's reality and it's fucked up.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. But I do want to kind of, I do want to end the show with this question, man. With this one question, dude. What's your next project, man? If you don't mind, what are you going towards now, man? What's the next vision, man?
So I'm actually. So also I want to touch base on something that it was just
go
kind
for
of
it. Yeah,
crazy
let's do it.
because I just got awarded a big ass grant from New York.
Badass! Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
So it's a $25,000.
Holy shit, dude! Sponsors out there, if you can fucking hook us up here at the podcast.
And it's unrestricted too. It
Wow.
comes from the Joan Mitchell Foundation.
Oh wow, dude, that's awesome, man.
It's like
That's really cool.
I like that foundation does that because, I mean, it's kind of crazy because you need to get nominated to even apply for that grant, right? So like, you get nominated, you apply, you may get it and you may not. I was fortunate to get it, and ever since that, I've been getting I've been super busy, like back-to-back shows. I'm trying to fill my calendar, and sometimes people are like, you need to take a break, and it's true because I really do go overboard. But my next thing is actually I'll be doing a performance at the McNay Art Museum.
Oh, when's that coming up? If you don't mind.
Be in June.
In June, you know what date yet?
I want to say I don't know the date.
All right, cool.
I think it's late June though. It's
in
like
late June.
yeah,
man.
We'll keep up with it. We'll put it.
I was gonna say like if you don't mind, if and when you find out the date, hit me up on Messenger. That way I can let our listeners know, man, for sure.
So I'll be doing this performance. Maybe I shouldn't say much because then people know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah,
but McNay Art Museum sometime in June.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and also I mean, if you want, you want to see more of my work, you can find it on Instagram under my name, Jose Villalobos Art, or you can even go to my website. So it's josevillalobosart.com.
Okay.
And people can search me. Do you have any questions? They can email me. Like anything.
Badass.
I'm open to a lot of discussion. think it's important to discuss things.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, just like we did here today on the show, I think that, I mean, like I said, if it's anything I learned something new about Latinx. I never, like I said, I never even fucking heard of that, dude. And it's like something now that, I'm aware of, so which is badass, dude. I mean, you know, that's really cool. So yeah, what else you got? So yeah, man. But Jose, man, thank you so much for coming out here, man.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it's been a fucking blast today.
Yeah,
Man. It's pretty cool. So again, ladies and gentlemen out there listening in podcast land to the Huevos Ketchup podcast, remember, please stay tuned for that date we get exactly from Jose Villalobos, where you can see him at the McNay Art Museum sometime in late June. What's out right now that they can go see?
Right now, I have a solo exhibition called Cicatrices, which translates to scars. But it's up at Presa House Gallery. It's on South Presa downtown. It is up until the end of the month. But, like I said, you know, if you can't make it out there, I understand people can't make it out. Two things. Just, you know, go on my page. I'm very, I try to stay active social media. Because I think that's the wonderful thing about technology that's been, you know, sometimes people who can't access things for certain reasons. Yeah. You know, it's in your palm now, and you can check it out.
That's cool. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful evening here with the one and only Jose Villalobos, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for listening. Remember, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, dreams, desires, fantasies, please email us at hnkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's hnkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, y'all.